So guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it's going to be a little update from me, a little bit of an update about how my training's been going through my injury, my plan for the next 10 weeks, some peak races that I've got planned, giving you guys a little bit of a catch up. So yeah, without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get into what's in this pink folder. This pink folder doesn't include anything fancy as such. It's just my 10-week plan for the next 10 weeks. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing that I've put hours and hours into, but essentially it's my experiment on how I can balance a heavy training regime around a heavy kind of working life, if you like. So essentially there's 10 weeks now down until my first peak race, which is going to be the Great North Run on the 10th of September. In those 10 weeks, the first 6, I've essentially got 46-hour weeks at uni. And this is basically starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and sometimes doesn't finish until 8:30 at night. So this is going to make training very difficult. I might have to do the odd half an hour here and the odd half an hour there. I might have to sacrifice some sessions for easy runs or easy cycles. So it's not going to be the best environment to training hard, but then those last 4 weeks leading up to the Great North Run, I am going to be then off from uni and have essentially loads of free time. So that doesn't mean that I can then suddenly start smashing the mileage because I'm then going to get injured. And also it's not going to give me enough chance to actually get the benefit from the training. So what this is going to be is, this is an introduction to hopefully a series that's going to be starting soon on the channel, basically about how I'm going to introduce cross training and better S&C into a slightly reduced mileage for me, because I've now realized that I cannot sustain the high mileage that I was doing without either better S&C, better nutrition, or utilizing some cross training here and there to supplement the training. So I typically would average between 80 and 100 miles a week. That's what I did going into Highgate. That's what I found I really enjoyed, and also what I found I was running the best on. So what I've tried to do is supplement this mileage with more time on the bike, more time on the cross trainer, for example, because I've realized that long term it's going to absolutely batter my body, because excessive running to that extent is probably not going to do me any good in terms of every day just absolutely crushing it in terms of just high mileage, high volume. So in terms of what this series is going to be, for me, it's going to be an experiment. It's going to be a way for me to see how I react to cross training, and B, whether I enjoy it as much and whether I can get the fitness gains from it that I would have done from the running, if that makes sense. For me, running has always been something that I can't get enough of. I always want to get out and do more. Say, for example, I've got an hour run on the cards, I'd quite happily go out and do 2 hours. Now, the problem with that is my body would be absolutely wrecked if I did the amount of running that I wanted to do. However, cycling, this newfound love that I've found through the Tour de France, has given me the option to do a little bit more volume without having the same kind of drastic effect on my joints, on my bones, etc. So I can go out for 2 hours on the bike and it not be anywhere near as physically fatiguing as 2 hours of running. I am by far nowhere near an expert in cross training, nowhere near an expert in S&C, and nowhere near an expert in nutrition. So my aims for this series are to learn a lot more about each of those three to make myself a long-term better athlete, but also to educate you guys along the way and see whether cross-training and trying to train around a very hectic, what is essentially a work schedule, even though I'm not getting paid for it, to see if it's sustainable and see whether I'm going to be able to continue being the athlete that I want to be around a hectic work, social and busy life in general, essentially. So I sat down for probably a couple of hours, nothing more, and just basically went through and built a training plan around my uni. Now, these are pretty bare bones at the moment because I don't know what sessions I'm going to plan when, and also I don't know what S&C to do when, because that's something that I'm kind of working on. I'm approaching some kind of experts, some people that are much more knowledgeable than me. So basically I can try and do the optimal amount of training wherever possible, because for me at the moment, it's always been a case of just do more volume and don't worry about the quality. And I don't think that's going to be sustainable, especially over this training block anyway. This also gives me the opportunity to dedicate a proper training block with no races for one race, and that is going to be specifically for the Great North Run. And this is a good chance for me to practice doing that kind of big block build up for one specific race in preparation for a potential very big race next April. Hint, hint. Say no more. So I have got 3 races planned kind of every 2 weeks from there. So I've got the Great North Run on the 10th of September, the Vitality 10K on the 14th of September, on the 24th of September, and then the Manchester half marathon, I think on the 11th of October. So 3 races, a half marathon, a 10K, and then another half marathon, all on the road, to basically see how my body copes to this training, how my PBs are impacted by this training, and also how I enjoy the variation in my training as well. So as I mentioned, I'm hoping to start a weekly series on the channel for the next 10 weeks, taking you through my training, very Sweat Elite style, obviously in my own kind of vibe, my own style, in terms of we kind of do a debrief, we talk about my week in training, the sessions that I've done, why I did them, the paces I did, why I did the paces I did, for example, the sessions, some things that I've been really trying to focus on that week. And then each video is going to have one specific section where it's dedicated to one of the training days, where I take you with me for a long run, or I take you with me for a gym session, or take you with me for a track interval session, for example, to try and give you a little bit more insight into the training that I do, my attempt at becoming a better athlete around a busy kind of medical university degree, and also trying to bridge the gap between the guys that are much quicker than me and me, essentially trying to bridge that gap, close it a little bit, and yeah, just trying to become an all-round better runner. So hopefully that, guys, hopefully that sounds appealing to you guys, and I hope you'll come along with me for the journey. This 10-week series, I want to do it properly, I want to do it well, so you're going to get used to seeing this room like it is here, and yeah, we'll have to come up with the Cole couch. I don't know if that's what you want to call it, the Cole's cool couch. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this little update. I just thought I'd come on and just basically tell you what's going on with the channel, my plans for the future, and what I've been up to essentially with regards to my injury. So just before we do finish off, my injury is a hamstring tendinopathy. Now this can take up to 12 weeks to heal, according to Dr. Google. I've had just under 4 weeks off, not completely from running, but from sessioning. So I've done some easy running here and there. I can still feel it when I run, so that's why I'm going to really be cautious and not overdo it in terms of training too soon, and monitor it, try and get some proper health care in terms of physiotherapy, osteopathy, and that sort of thing. I've been trying to do my best in the gym with my limited knowledge, because at the end of the day, money is a finite resource for me. I can't just be paying for an S&C coach here and physiotherapy there. 3 to 4 weeks out, I'm nearly back, and yeah, mentally, I feel pretty motivated. Much better than I was this time last time I got injured, if that makes sense. So yeah, without further ado, please like, subscribe, share with your running buddies, and love the pain. And I'll catch you hopefully in the first episode of the series. See ya.